Lesson 169. By grace I live. By grace I am released. So what is grace? It is an aspect of God's love. It is the truth. So grace brings us, it's a tool to bring us to love and to bring us to truth. So what is God? God is what? We cannot answer that question. Once we find oneness, which is simply the idea that God is or God exists, once we get to that point, we can't describe it. We can't really think about it in our brains. It's just a feeling or an awareness of knowing that I'm really not myself. I'm really not this body. I'm really not separate. I'm really not here. And like our source, we merely is. If you think about it, God merely just is. What is He? He just is. And so are we. So grace I live, and grace I am released. Grace is not learned. It's the acceptance of a state that's completely different from anything we've been familiar with. We've been conditioned our whole lives. We've learned because others taught us this way of thinking. And that is not it. Grace cannot believe the world of fear is real. So grace is releasing ourselves from fear. It's also releasing ourselves from hate and also forgiving this world that we seem that we're stuck in and accepting God. So let's live it and be released by grace. You must recognize you're on this journey. It feels like we're on a journey that's already done. And oneness is already here. It's a constant state that we have always been in and will be forever. So when you have a revelation, what is a revelation? It's just a feeling. You can't describe it. You can't contemplate it or think about it. Because any thoughts that go through your mind aren't real. So you can't really think with your mind. You must think with God. And when that revelation comes, everything will be known and fully understood. You'll have to still do the work. What does that mean? That means we're still going to have to go through this life and do the work. We have to go to work. We're still going to have to do laundry and clean our house. But we're going to go through it with a state of grace and oneness and truth and happiness. We're going to do the work. We're going to get through it. We're still going to have these little issues that come up. But we're not going to think about it when something bad happens, because if we think about the bad things, we're going to be attacking our thoughts when we worry or have anxiety. And that is just proof that we are separate. So we're not going to really think at all. We're just going to do, or as God is, we are going to be as is, one with God. So let's just live in that constant state of grace. So grace I live. Grace I am released. Just think about it. If you didn't have to worry about anything, if you could just have this perfect state of grace, you would be released. You can live. And grace I give. Let's give it to others. And by grace I will be released. Let's give it to others, and then we will receive that truth and oneness as well.